Hey guys, it's me, the Tin Man, obviously. Anyways, some great stuff to say here. For starters, I'm making this video a second time. I didn't hit the record button properly. But for starters, looky here. I am on an area where they hang out. No doubt, they probably live right here. This is a great area because we're right beside the river. Our big Fraser River. It connects to the ocean. We're so close to the ocean, just beyond that area there, that the tide actually affects us this far in. Tide's out on the ocean right now. You could do that by even tracking it. Is it on its way out right now, way in? I can't determine that part of it, but you see the water dropping quite a bit here. You can see even the landscape. Let's say we're probably somewhere about level there. And yeah, and that's the proof of the river. Sorry about that, bit of an itch. Anyways, we look into these bushes here, and we know our fellers living here. 100%. I'm going to come back to this for you. This is just a little teaser on that little part right there, okay? So now, let's go this, a little bit zoom back here. Whoops. Whoops, sorry, I'm just figuring this dang thing out. Anyways, you see this galvanized steel? Stick with me. This is very, very important. See this galvanized steel? This galvanized steel can break down in a process and if it even was run off at the same time as this stuff, could actually start to break down. What I noticed when I was filming over there, almost looking like little frack lines going on in here, guys. So maybe they're actually fracking through the galvanized process. The rust is starting under the galvanized. I'm almost calling that right now. And obviously it has to start somewhere, the rust, and on the steel penetration is where it does it. It doesn't rust the galvanized. The galvanized has to wear away. Anyways, so I was thinking that maybe they were doing it with a heat process, because there's been times where I feel that these guys might have a heat energy source of some sort. Now that I'm seeing that, it's making me tick a lot different, and I'm sure some of you. So if we look along here, is it going to be just these sporadic markings of how the process of galvanize works, that rust lines are cracked on, or naturally cracking in? I'm going to say no, probably. It's just some, whoops, maybe brought together somehow. Hopefully I'm nice and focused for you guys. Like I said, I did, what's this one? Okay, so this is the marker. So they've been here recently checking this bridge. They've just put a code on there. So they're curious about this bridge, how it's doing too. But in this part, I wouldn't be worrying about it too much. Now let's walk over here. They didn't do any marking around here to say that they've been inspecting this. But what I want to show you here is this is where I really got into the rusting detail of it, and I started to talk about it. And the reason was, after one or two times of examining this guy, this break that they've been working on and help it come along and such, which, wow, we're gonna see really good now, man. Like, this is all thinned out. So that's 3, 4, 5, but that's about a 5-inch span right now, right there at its most worn. This shelf, I can't remember if it was that deep. I don't recall it being that deep, but we came in here and we talked about maybe that rock being ejected out of there would be a tight little accomplishment. And look at how thin the concrete right there is. I can chip it with my nail there. Yeah, so we see stuff going on. I talk about this. I was thinking that it was a heat based kind of something breaking down the steel, but look at that. Look at the bend in that guy. You see that? That clamp right there, compared to the other ones, has been bent. So that's awesome. That is very awesome. Was it like that before? Maybe. But we still have huge, strong structural bending. We have a big amount of the steel protective coating on there failing. we have this in a progress of deterioration without any remnants on the ground at all. We have cracking that I talk about. We have here on this site where I can see almost like I think they're creating a fill to actually do this. This might be their fill in there, in these little bit different kind of wider spots. They might be coming along and actually to some extent hiding it. I want you guys to realize this, that recently here in our country, I heard on the news, I haven't done a checkup on it, it's probably almost a week old now. A train out in the Thompson area of, I believe, Manitoba was going across a bridge. How I understand it, the bridge collapsed with a train on it. It's going to be a wood trestle. I'm telling you right now, in our country here, we do not make those kind of mistakes. We do not allow our engineers to be that stupid generally, because they won't, you know, take responsibility for all this stuff. So because people won't, you always got to be backing them up to make sure that there's a better amount of responsibility. And in our country here, our bridges don't fall down. We're not a third world country. I feel very sad and sorry for a lot of these countries that are having bridges starting to fall down around the world now, because I really believe that there's a new level of engineering we have to come into. There's a new process of trying to figure out how to babysit these guys and so on and so forth. And it's not the everyday man that's going to be able to do it, because it's way beyond that. It's a tough thing. It's like owning 1,000 dogs in your yard is where all of a sudden your evolution will have to change to if you really want to be a big part of this. If you just want to be a little part and get some pictures and so on and so forth, then that's what you're being. If you want to be a big part and really understand what's really going on, then remember, I talk about even these hydro poles, these telephone poles right here getting fracked up and getting broken and so on and so forth. All these chips that we think, oh, those guys did a lousy job when they placed them and such like that. We got to think about that. All these kind of cracks like that and stuff like that is all part of the process. So next time when you come by here and you see 1,000 marks on this thing, it's beyond repair. Like, you might be thinking, who really gives a rat's ass, Ian? Let the bridge wear out. This bridge is wearing out probably 10 folds faster. Like, this is a big deal. This isn't little deals what we're talking about here. This is our humankind. There could be that truck could be driving on it one night that's coming across now, and that could be the time that the bridge decides to do its little collapse and takes that life from his family. That's what we're trying to prevent. We're first here as our group, every color. Red, white, black, and whatever we used to say. Jesus loves the world. Remember that song? Anyways, yeah. Let's get it figuring, guys. Let's get it figuring, please. Send this to somebody. And just tell them to commit to... I'm sorry, I'm trying to do a zoom. There we go. Just try to get them to commit to... watching the whole video. Thanks for watching. Another story of in this area I just heard yesterday. Monkey jumped up on, was just finished crossing the street. The guy seen it, jumps up onto the fence. 6-foot fence, just jumps up like nothing. He did go from all fours up onto the fence. The guy said he was so close, there's no way it was a cat, no way it was anything but a monkey. And he just happened to be talking to me. He wasn't really... He's not like some guy, kind of a Bigfooter guy at all or anything like that. He's a guy I know, he's like, as we talked, I ended up realizing he hears a lot of the noises they make, and he just doesn't know that it's them. He knows it's creatures of the night, and his mind is open to it. And that's how he kind of just leaves it. In a way, it was kind of like he was even, him and his lady were saying that they just don't even want to hear too much about what I have to say about it. Because they just want to keep it kind of in their secured little spot that feels kind of comfortable and scary, and they just keep themselves safe and such like that, and that's fine. And our lives can probably keep going like that for a long time, feeling nice and safe and stuff. Maybe forever with these guys. It's hard to say. I don't know that stuff. I don't know how we can befriend or whatever, but right now as things go, there's problems. There's too many problems. I think they're behind many of our problems. I'm standing on one of the problems right now, a bridge that they're creating into a problem. And I can prove it's them. Oh, I gotta go get my son. Peace out.